Our first race of the evening. We're going to get our sprinters going here soon. We have a long-standing tradition here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome of making sure we have a good handle on our track records and awarding anybody who might break them a nice honorarium of $100 and a nice round of applause. We were caught a little bit surprised this morning. We weren't even it wasn't even on our radar to be watching this one closely, but we had a new track record set in the flying 200 meters for our women competitors this morning, or I should say this afternoon. Kayla Hankins riding a 11.863 on our track, setting a new record at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome. Very impressive, and if nothing else, it's setting up for a very exciting sprint tournament. We've got some fast juniors that showed up today that'll make this really exciting. So we're about to dive into that here. Our first group up tonight for this schedule, we're going to be starting with our sprints. And the semi-final rides is going to begin with the men. So we're going to get that started here in just a moment. Good opportunity to still check in on our social media. Make sure you're following us on our Twitter account and getting all of our updates at JB Velodrome. We got the live stream rolling on Twitch, Facebook, and of course YouTube. You can watch all that now. And we encourage you to check that out. Give us a follow, give us a thumbs up, and share away as we've got some great action tonight. And we love folks to see it. Ride 1 for the semifinals men ride is coming on over. Please come under the official stand. Ride 1, come on down. This first heat, we'll see our riders bib number 5, 10, and 501 going head-to-head. Jean-Luc Galateo taking on Benjamin Rackness in this head-to-head matchup, the semifinal round 1. On deck, heat 2 is Davies and Ulrich. Again, heat 1, 510 and 501 is who we're looking for. So earlier today, we had a qualifying event, the flying 200 meters. We've seated our competitors here in this first round, the semifinals. Best of 3 rides in both of the rounds here. So a lot of rides for our sprint competitors today. Trying the inside position, riding for the Jerry Baker junior team, Ben Rackness. Riding with that red Cervelo bike. His competitor here, Jean-Luc, on his right-hand side. Getting clipped in and ready to roll. And this will be, again, our first of 3 rides potentially for this semifinals. And this is our first match sprint underway. Off they go. It's Rackness taking that front position as he's committed to, having drawn that inside spot at the line. He'll maintain that walking pace all the way through the first 200 meters, as our instructions were just given to the riders to do so. And then after that, they can do however they please to try to get to that finish line. A 2-lap event here at our track for the sprints. This first lap, nice and long usually, and then the second lap usually looking on that back straight for the excitement and the speed to really pick up. On deck is Heat 2. For our men competitors, again, that is going to be Heat 2 on deck for the men. Davies and Ulrich. Following them, we'll have Heat 1 for the women is McKenna and Placer. Heat 2 is Hankins and Gibson. That'll be our order for our event. Bell's ringing for 1 to go, and it's Rackness rolling things up to speed along the rail a little bit. He's got room to maneuver in either direction. Lots of room behind him. And that's an interesting position for the rider on the front. He's waiting to get to the hill. He'll use that hill to ramp, and now lots of running room up behind him. Will he be able to keep that gap? He needs a big turn of speed to do so, as Rackness is losing that lead second by second, and a big acceleration through turn 4. And it looks like it will go in the way of Jean-Luc in this first heat. Ride 1. So he has got the advantage. We'll see them again and see if he can close it out with a second win. This will be to advance to the gold and silver medal ride, which will also be a best of 3. So the reminder, I know it's foreign for a lot of folks here because of our big track. We exit on the back straight immediately following your event and fly on into that warm-up circle. You got plenty of running room to get in there. Again, we ask our competitors to exit on the back straight immediately following the finish of their race. On the outside, we have riding for Team Velosport is Ian Ulrich. Drawing the inside position, Tyler Davies for Elite Race Team. Our Vancouver BC competitor, Tyler Davies, is the one that takes that lead position. Both riding in the pretty blue jersey, but here we go. It's actually going to be an immediate switch up. Ulrich wants to take the lead away, so he can do so. He'll move up to that front position now. It's now Ulrich leading the lap. Our competitor here from San Diego, showing some great speed earlier today. This event will look a little different, though. Obviously, with the sprints allowing for a different type of speed. Ulrich had a lot of success today in that Endurance Omnium and leading that currently. Also with the best time coming out of the 200s. Is Tyler Davies, his competitor. So we'll see how this one plays out. It might turn things on their head. Ulrich knows that he likes to be at the front of the group. At 1 to go, that's where he still is, trying to lead Davies out, forcing Davies to be at a high tempo for a pretty long time, maybe not where he wants to be. Tyler leaving just enough room, maybe about a bike's length now as he's starting to close it in, try to make that a bit smaller, setting himself up for that turn 3 acceleration if he can get there. Ulrich still pushing the pace, coming through the turn. It's now going to be an extra acceleration from Davies, looking like he might be able to find it here. His acceleration over the right-hand side and a nice push from the Canadian. And the recipe works. He'll take that first matchup, the first ride, and we'll see both of them again. Heat 1 for the women coming up. Coming down now is going to be McKenna McKee facing Raina Placer. On deck will be Kayla Hankins and Katie Gibson. After the completion of the semifinal Ride 1, the first mass start event of our program, the 15 through 18-year-old men Omnium number 3. That's the elimination race. That's going to be coming up after the semifinal rides for the women here. Good chance here in the in-betweens of our sprint tournament here to head on over to the beverage garden and pick up your favorite beverage for the night. We've got delicious things on serve from OS Winery, Locust Ciders, and Mac and Jack's Brews, our great partners again here in 2019. Proceeds from the beverage garden go directly back into supporting racing programs here at the track, including that for our young riders as well. Morena Placer on the inside position, bib number 520. He's got the gray kit on with that yellow helmet. Takes the lead position as she draws that inside start. Here all the way from Lowell, Michigan. And a Michigan State track sprint champion representing here in our event this weekend. Exciting stuff. The beginning of this lap, she will take that lead position and stay there as her competitor, McKenna McKee, in the blue jersey, just a couple of paces behind her here at this point. Another one of our Canadian competitors coming out of Vancouver is McKenna, riding for the TCNF Legal Racing Team. Probably should actually read the full name of the city. Then notice that it's Vancouver, Washington, not BC. The other Vancouver. So off we go here. And based on the qualifiers, these two were pretty close in their times from the 200 meters. We'll see how they play this one out. They're starting to roll it into that third turn. Both riders using the full width of the track right now. Not committing to the sprinter's lane. With that bell ringing at 1 to go, the sprinter's lane's still open and the speed's starting to get there. Placer still on the front, the rider in that gray kit trying to hold on to that position, and here comes the Vancouver competitor now trying to swing out and around, take the early lead at about 200 meters remaining. And off and away she goes, looking like she might be able to have the drag race already won, trying to hold on to the speed through the turn, and it looks like she's in great position. The Vancouver, Washington competitor will take that first ride in that heat. And our final heat for the women's semifinals, now coming up, heat 2. We'll see Kayla Hankins and Katie Gibson coming down. And of course, Kayla, our new track record holder, still fresh off the excitement of that, coming on down for her first ride in these semis. It'll be Katie Gibson lining up on the outside position in the darker kit. Her competitor on the inside, wearing the mostly white kit, is Hankins. This is their first ride of potentially 3. This is the last heat. Our 15 through 18-year-old men elimination ride is coming up. Hankins at the front as she commits to do so at the beginning of this lap, having pulled that inside position and leaving just a little bit of room behind her. We'll see how this one plays out. Again, this one would be our first and fourth place coming out of our seating from the 200 meters. Riders that win 2 will qualify into the gold and silver medal ride, which will also be a best of 3 format. The rider not finding the 2 wins in this semifinal series will be moving to a bronze medal ride, the ride for third and fourth place. Both riders down low on the track, a little bit different than positioning than we saw from our previous heats. Neither one of them electing to use the banking at all for helping in acceleration. And Hankins is totally fine here, just sitting in the sprinter's lane and kind of blocking the short way around the track. Gibson swinging above the blue line a little bit. You can see Hankins looking over the right shoulder, just trying to keep track of where she is, knowing that with every meter they move, it's more likely that the attack will happen. So interestingly enough, still again, keeping only the right lane available as the sprinter's lane is being occupied pretty much all the way through this event so far. Wanting to be at the front as we're coming into that 200 meters to go mark. Right about here is usually where we start to see the acceleration, and Hankins has guarded it the whole way around. She's just going to be gently rolling up the speed. Is that the way she wants to do it, or is she going to force all the way through the turn here? Looks like it's going to be a last minute effort through turn 4 to see if she can overtake. Gibson trying to find some speed here through turn 4. Didn't find enough time maybe to make the move, and Hankins will hold on in this first matchup. And that'll do it for the first round of semifinals. We have another round at least for those heats. We'll see if we can get any repeats or if we'll have to force a third ride or not. It is time for our next event here. And with that, I will invite our next group up to the rail. It's time for the elimination, our third race in this Omnium series. 15 through 18 junior men elimination to the rail, please. So as it stands right now, we've got a top 3 in the Omnium after 2 races. It's Ian Ulrich in the lead with 80 points. Billy Taylor is sitting in second with 76, and Ben Rackness in third with 72. That's our current top 3 in the Omnium competition. After 2 races completed, they have 2 more ahead of them, with the elimination followed by the points race later in this session. So off we go for elimination, and this is going to come down to just eliminating riders every single lap, last one across the line. So we're looking for riders to stay in the field by not being the last rider across the line. We'll be watching for their rear tire, that last rear tire to cross the line, as our way to judge who gets pulled from the group. Pretty fast lap here. Obviously, riders want to set up. They don't want to be left out after only one lap. So a lot of pressure in this first one to get going. And they do get the whistle. They're together enough to get this thing started. Laps are already showing how many you have left, as we can kind of see where we're at. It shows 6 to go. Next time around, 1 rider's pulled. Lots of speed here through turn 4. We're looking for the first rider out, and looking for the acceleration over the right-hand side. Oh, will he find enough? 5:05 is Grant Gallagher. Grant Gallagher. Some of these riders have been competing on track cycling for a long time. Some riders are just now getting into the sport. Grant just now coming and joining us on the team. Grant Gallagher needs to come out the lap here. Grant Gallagher. No pole, no pole, no pole. No pole, no pole. Grant needs to exit the track next time. No pole, ladies and gentlemen. No pole. Grant Gallagher will exit on the lap. Only 5:05 will exit on the lap. Only Grant Gallagher will exit on the lap. And looks like we might have a semi-volunteer, we'll say. 4 to go showing in the poll. This lap, it looks like it'll be bib 5:04, Alex Bennett. 5 remain. All right, we've got everything sorted out now, and our group looking like they're going to try to contest here once again with the 5 that are in the group. And Corner 4 Racing might find their time, and they do. It's 5:03. It's Hodgins. Trying to get it accelerating up to the line there. Just didn't have quite enough time to move up and around the speed of the group. And we've got 4 in the group. We're still working our way down. It'll show 3 to go as they come by this time. Correction, 2 to go. That's all right. We got it straightened out. 2 to go here, and it looks like Kaiser's looking around, realizing what's going on. 5:02 is Henry Kaiser. With 3 riders left in the field. It's Ian Ulrich in the dark blue starting to move towards the front. Our leader in the Omnium on his right-hand side is the rider in 3rd place, is Ben Rackness with that orange helmet. In 2nd, he's moving up, trying to make sure he stays in here. In the light blue is Billy Taylor getting the bell. Who's going to stay in for another lap? Oh, 5:01 is Rackness is just barely caught, and he knew it was coming. A good effort there from the 3 of them. It's now Ulrich versus the next closest in the Omnium, Billy Taylor, the 2 at the top of this race and of the overall event. Billy Taylor trying to use the rail a little bit to control where Ulrich is, and now using the distance on the left and right movement to really control his competitor. Nice movement across the track, up and out of the saddle, trying to demand this thing and holding on for the sprint. And it's not quite enough. What good movement across the track, really trying to keep things interesting as Ian Ulrich still finds enough time to make the move. Ulrich will take it over Taylor in a close race and an exciting one. The women competitors will ride the same event. We'll go ahead and have you grab your stuff and come on up to the rail as the track is ready to go. Women competitors, up to the rail for your elimination. I'm sorry, did I misspeak? Sorry, team. My apologies. Semifinal rides 2 are up now, followed by, so the men's semifinals, then the women's semifinals, then we'll get to that elimination ride. My apologies, ladies. Who hired this guy anyways? So we're going to give a little bit of a delay here just to make sure that the riders that just got off the track have a moment to get set for the sprint. So no super rush here. We are into ride 2 for the sprint semifinals, but our men did just finish up. So we'll give just a moment to make sure that those guys can catch their breath and not rush into it. Ride 2 on deck for the semifinals. We'll start with that first heat very soon. As we take a bit of a break here to make sure our riders are in top condition for their sprints. Good opportunity to go check out the cool swag on sale. The JB Velodrome logo is blazoned across some great stuff. We got shirts and beanies and sweatshirts and all sorts of other cool JBV stuff that you might want to take home with you. Let people know that you were here in Redmond and had a great time. Warm up tonight. Also, you can head over and grab that basket of fries you've been craving since you smelled the grill firing up earlier. Jessica's Unique Bites is hanging out with us tonight to make sure everybody's needs are met in that way. Looks like our first heat is ready to get going again, so we will get this second round of the semifinals underway. On track now on the inside, Jean-Luc Cantan-Galiteo. On the outside, Ben Rackness. Their second ride is Jean-Luc on the inside with the advantage, one ride up on his competitor. If he gets the second one here, he will advance to the gold and silver. It is the job of the rider in the orange helmet to get the win here to try to force the third ride. Otherwise, this heat will retire and we'll move on in the series. On deck is Heat 2. On deck, Heat 2 is Davies and Ulrich, followed by our women competitors. Heat 1 is McKee and Placer. Heat 2, Hankins and Gibson. Again, the rider in the dark blue and currently in the front position is the rider with advantage in the matchup right now. One up on the opponent. Trying out that sprinter's lane as well, early part of this one. Still plenty of time to try maneuvering around here as they come into the second half of this first lap. Similar formation to what we saw from them in the first matchup. A bit of a run-up room for Rackness. He left quite a bit of space as he's doing so again. Will this one end the same way? The setup is fairly familiar, though lower on the track this time. Rackness trying to use maybe a little bit more of the hill than his opponent sticking down to that sprinter's lane. And now they're up to speed and maybe not enough time for Rackness to make any kind of adjustment as Jean-Luc is just on the move. Off and away. He wants to get into that gold and silver ride, and he'll do just that. Let's find out who his opponent is. If Davies can get a second one here, it'll be Tyler. Otherwise, we'll see these two again. Now coming up to the track. Again, it'll be Tyler Davies with the advantage in this one as he took the first ride earlier. It's Ian Ulrich on the inside looking to force the third ride if he can find the win in this ride here. Heat 2 for the men. On deck is Heat 1 for the women. Again, that heat is on deck McKenna McKee, Raina Placer. Ian Ulrich at the front for Team Velosport, and it'll be him that needs to find this in their second ride, trying to find a victory here. If he can do so, we will see them again. Riding much closer than our previous heat and looking a little more patient in the early part of the lap. Ulrich attempted to use what he knows his strength was earlier. He's always shown it as the leader in our Omnium, still holding on to that leader spot in the Omnium, in fact. While Davies had the fastest 200 meter of the day, time of the day. So kind of the opposite ends of the skill sets between these two as they're trying to match it up that way. And you can see in that first ride, Ulrich trying to use his strengths to his advantage and see what he could do. Now it's looking like they're going to be a little bit more patient here in the second part of this first lap. Both riders are willing to kind of play a little bit of cat and mouse on the race surface. Bells ringing, and Davies has got the whole track on either side of him and lots of room to maneuver. Ulrich might like this as now he's got the rear wheel. Some little bit different formation for him to try. Now a little bit of guesswork on Davies, trying to get a good idea or good sense of what Ulrich wants to do here. As soon as he tries to sweep left, he will sweep left with him, and Davies will take that sprinter's lane, forcing Ulrich to take the slightly longer way around the track, and that might just be enough to put him back behind him again. And here comes Davies trying to get into that gold-silver matchup. Maybe easing up a little bit, popping out of the lane just a little bit there, looking over that right shoulder. But Davies will unofficially be the one to take the ride in that second heat. If it stands, he'll be advancing to the gold and silver ride. For our local folks that are joining us tonight, maybe expecting a normal Friday night racing program, those are still going on every week. Don't you worry. Just tonight we're taking a little bit of a detour towards the land of supporting the future of the sport. USA Cycling teaming up with the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome to offer this development and identification program. We're looking for the future of the sport. So the national folks got their eyes on this event. We've got our young riders from all over the country coming in. We got San Diego, we got Manhattan, we've got Michigan, Texas, people from all over the place. Vancouver, BC, and Washington. 2 Vancouvers in one event. So we've got a lot of stuff going on here, and it's all in the name of trying to support the future of track racing. This is a series that's going on in a number of hosts across the country, and we were identified as one of the hosts for 2019. So we're doing this weekend. Next weekend, we'll be right on back to the fun of the normal weekend experience here at the track. And after some deliberations, Davies will advance and take the heat and that second ride, and we'll ride for the gold and silver later in our program up against Jean-Luc. Rackness and Ulrich will meet in a ride for third place. And here we go. We can bring up our first heat now. The second ride for the women. McKee and Placer coming on up. On deck is Hankins and Gibson getting ready to go. I should mention, in fact, next week is our special kickoff event. So we've got a lot of racing going on the weekend next week, too. So 24th and 25th, the kickoff for the regular season. So mark your calendars. Don't forget, next week, we got all sorts of great stuff going on in the month of May here at the track. So the rider in the blue jersey, that inside position right now, bib 519, McKenna McKee, the winner of the first matchup between the two, looking to get the second one in a row. We haven't seen a ride forced to the third ride just yet. Raina Placer is her challenger, sitting on that outside position right now and slightly behind her competitor in the black jersey with the neon helmet. Of course, Morena Placer, our competitor here from Michigan. A dual citizen of the United States and Canada, so one of our dual citizen competitors, and also fighting back from a lot of injury and surgery this last season, I hear. So an uphill battle for any competitor, and here she is traveling on the road and trying to show her stuff in what has been a tough year for the recovery. But Michigan State's one of the sprint champions in recent years, so here she is trying to show her form. Needs to find the win here to force the third ride. And McKenna will make the first jump. She jumps up here just over that finish line. Just as the bell sound stops, she'll take the initiative and gets down the sprinter's lane. She's got a couple bike lengths of distance on her close competitor here. A second win. This Placer's trying to get back into this thing. McKee still at the front. Placer finding a little bit of acceleration now. Digging deep, looking for some more speed here. And just not quite enough to get there before the race is over. It will be McKee moving on for gold and silver. Our last heat for the second round, heat 2 for the women. Hankins and Gibson. Kayla Hankins taking it in the first round, looking to do it again. We'll advance to gold and silver. Otherwise, we'll see a third ride. None of it have been forced to that third ride just yet. We'll see if this heat and Gibson can produce that result. Gibson lining up once again in the inside position. In the dark kit on the outside is in the white is her competitor Kayla Hankins. The ride in the front position is the one looking for the win here to try to hold on to the series and force the third ride. We'll see how this one goes as the rider in white took the first ride earlier tonight. Now on deck will be, I suppose, our women's elimination, probably after a little bit of respite, making sure they've got some time to get transitioned over. Oh, okay. There's no overlap. Got it. There's no double dippers. Got it. Great. On the back straight on this first lap, a little bit of room between the two. Still plenty of time to develop this one as Hankins up along the rail, watching what's happening in front of her and leaving about a bike's length. Both riders above that blue line. Lots of avenues to attack if they wanted to early, although this is a pretty early attack on a sprint. Our big track, 400 meters long, the same as your high school track when you ran track and field. Coming through turn 4. Again, our record setter earlier today in the 200-meter flying time, that was Hankins, the second rider in the lineup right now. She's up along that rail. Threatening for a moment, and then swinging back to the right again. Katie Gibson, keeping an eye on her. They both have slowed down now. That quick acceleration going to be key here, the left-hand turn. And there it is, a bit of a turn, and not the full-on acceleration. It's like a half acceleration as she moves down to that sprinter's lane, waiting for that second kick. We saw this in the first matchup. She waited as long as she could to come up to speed all the way through turns 3 and 4. Will she do a little earlier or not? It looks like Gibson gonna just kind of get up to speed alongside of her. Now comes the stand out of the saddle and the jump. Gibson trying to find that second win for herself. It'll be Hankins getting the second win and advancing for a gold-silver match. She'll be taking on McKee for gold and silver. Gibson will face Placer for the 3rd and 4th place ride. All right, now we can bring up that elimination for the women. Thank you for your patience. Women competitors for the elimination, to the rail, please. Your Omnium leaders in the group are top 3 right now. In first place, Kelly Darlene with 80, 74 points. In second place is Lauren Zeinhart, and in third is Heidi Martin. She's got 72 points. Our top 3 in the Omnium for the women. This, their 3rd race in the Omnium. It will be the elimination. We saw the men ride it a little bit earlier in the program. And with the size of field, and there's no real interim before we start eliminating, the elimination will be a very brief race. So we eliminate all the way down to 1. Every lap, a rider comes out after the neutral is completed. They'll hear a bell as 3 riders are remaining, essentially. So it'll go by pretty fast. You can see this neutral, much like the men earlier, pretty quick, as they know it's going to be over in the blink of an eye. Unlike our men competitors, these guys are not overlapping with the sprint tournament, so they're fresh to go. They're excited for this event. They've been waiting for it. We had some great racing in this field earlier today. And here they go, their first race of the session. It's our Endurance Omnium group for the women. Next time around, we'll pull a rider from the field. Next time around, we pull 1 rider from the field. And it's been a very fast lap, no real break from it. And this will be the first time a rider gets out, and they're all going for it. It's 5 riders across the track. Make it 4, maybe 1 now. Oh. Paige Ziska from Northwest Cycling Club. Bib 521. While you're at it, you should check out Paige Ziska's YouTube channel. She's an active athlete in more than one way. You check it out online, find her channel, and subscribe to it. She's got both of her coaches here in attendance, Taylor and Jenny, hanging out and supporting her today. 2 to go, and who will be out this time? 5:16 is caught on the lap. 5:16, Maya Duncan. This time around, we will hear a bell. There's 3 riders remaining. We're going to hear that bell. Three left in the field is Martin, Zeinhardt, and Darlene. The top 3 in the Omnium staying in for the elimination. One more to pull here as the bell's going to be ringing. And a bit of a sprint around the right-hand side. Is it going to be the sprinter's lane left out? It just might be. 5:22, Heidi Martin. With that bell ringing, it's Martin pulled out of the race, and now we've got mano a mano on this final lap. On the inside is Lauren Zeinhardt on her right-hand side. Kelly Darlene head-to-head. Oh, and here they come through the turn. Kelly trying to put a little bit more acceleration on it. Zeinhardt trying to hold on in that sprinter's lane. Kelly Darlene finding the speed she needs. And looks like she'll grab another victory here, and Darlene will take it. Zeinhardt for second place in that elimination race. No need for ride 3 in our sprint. So the next thing on our program is indeed the points race for the men. All right, I think we're in the situation where we can go ahead and call our junior men up to the rail, please, for the points race. Junior men for the points race. To the rail, please. And here we come to the 4th race in the Omnium. It is the points, a 35-lap event, and it's a 7x5. So we're going to have 7 sprints every 5 laps. Sprint laps in the points race work like this. 5 points to the first rider on that sprint, 3 points to the second rider, 2 to the third, and 1 to the fourth. So we'll have all these intermediate sprints in the event with 5, 3, 2, and 1 going out to the front 4 riders. Riders with the most number of points at the end of the event will be the winner. The only important thing to remember about that last sprint is any ties that are left on the field, ties will be broken by placement in the final sprint. So off we go here in our 7x5, a 35-lap event for the junior men. Whistle sounding. And we're off for our first lap. We're going to start hearing bells, not until 31 to go on the lap cards for our riders as they're going by. Two laps down, a couple more before the first bell rings. The Omnium leader, Ian Ulrich from Team Velosport, the rider that just took that front position and swings out of the way in the dark blue. Everybody in the field's gotten pretty familiar with each other over the course of the day. One of our local riders trying to make a move off the front is everybody's kind of sitting up a little bit, waiting for something to happen. The Jerry Baker Jr. squad opening things up at 3 laps completed. As Kaiser's looking over his shoulder, realizing he has one other rider there in Ben Rackness. I want to say Billy Taylor, the next rider to take the bait and make the jump up. Going from 1 rider to 2 and now maybe 3, forcing most of the field now to respond. Rackness finds himself at the front. 32 to go, trying to set something up for themselves. Rackness, Kaiser now takes the front from his teammate. And a group of 5 has formed. So just like that, our 5 grouping themselves back up again. No one wanting to miss out on the action here. This all started by Kaiser's earlier attack. Now we have our 5 together. At the front of the group now, Billy Taylor for Star Trek. Currently in second place in the Omnium in that blue kit with the blue helmet. Bells ringing, our first points next time around. 5, 3, 2, and 1 to the leaders. 5, 3, 2, and 1 to our leaders next time around. Riding high on the track, lots of room to maneuver. As Rackness controlling the tempo, nobody willing to go for it just yet. Ian Ulrich will find that sprinter's lane and begins to make a little bit of space for himself at the front. Looking around, making sure he's in the sprints here. Rackness will put out some power here to try to pick up the 5. Rackness will take the first 5. Ulrich will take 3. Billy Taylor for the 2. Kaiser gets 1. So our unofficial leader, Rackness, in the orange helmet, takes the first 5. And we have our first bit of points here. Again, it's Rackness with 5, Ulrich sitting with 3, Taylor 2, and Kaiser 1. Everybody else looking for their first points. If you are finding yourself at all inspired by what our young people are doing here today, and maybe you yourself want to give this thing a try, the track has had a long history here of offering great courses, classes, and teaching how to race a track bike. You can sign up for those courses online at velodrome.org, the home of all things Marymoor Velodrome Association related. And of course, you can see all the things like our race calendar, our schedule for the entire year. You can look at all of the things like our fee schedule, how to volunteer for events, all that great stuff you can find on our website. Again, velodrome.org, the home of our organization. Maybe you're not inspired to try it yourself, but maybe you know a young person that would fit perfectly out here on the track, an active person looking for something to do during the summer months maybe. Well, we happen to have a development team right here in our track. The Jerry Baker Jr.'s team is adding new members regularly as it's been growing over the last 2 years or so as it's been brought back in force. You can see him out there in the black and the dark and the blue kits. Kaiser showing it off the front as we're talking about his team. The rider in the blue helmet in a very good position on this field. So if you have a young rider in your life or somebody you know might fit well into that kind of program, you can sign them up also through our website for the junior team or contact one of our staff to ask questions about membership and what it's like to be involved. We'd be happy to give you all that information and get you hooked up with the right people. Henry Kaiser still in the front, forcing 3 to respond in kind here before they miss out on the points. And it looks like he's been caught here right before the bell. As it'll be Ulrich leading the way. Kaiser leading out for those couple of laps. Gets caught before the bell's ringing by Ulrich and team. Now all together, they'll actually slow back down again, and the pause is here. It's Rackness on the front, Ulrich in second wheel. Billy Taylor right there as well. Kaiser, the early attack coming from him. He's now right in the midst of this again. And it looks like Rackness again for 5. Ulrich will take the 3. Billy Taylor for 2, and Kaiser will take the 1. It's a repeat of the last time, so we'll double their points. Unofficially, Rackness sitting in the lead with 10 points, followed by Ulrich in second with 6, Billy Taylor in third with 4, and Henry Kaiser in fourth with 2. Seeing 24 to go. Another bell at 21 laps remaining. Just to keep everyone up to date, we do have some more sprints coming up. In fact, the next group are men's finals, ride 1. Well, by the women's finals, ride 1. That'll happen here after the points race is concluded. The front of the race right now is the combination of Taylor and Ulrich. That's the riders just now coming onto the home straight. Star Track Racing at the front in the blue. The second place in the Omnium, but right now he's sitting in third in the points race. So Taylor's trying to do some work here, trying to hold Rackness out of future points, maybe hoping him and Ulrich can get away from the feisty one in the orange helmet. Seeing 22 to go for Ulrich and Taylor. The next closest rider to him, Benjamin Rackness there. And also the chase for Henry Kaiser also on the lap. These riders trying to get back into it. If you're just joining us here at the park, glad to have you with us. This is not our usual Friday night program. We have riders from all over the country coming in for the Junior National Track Cup here. It may not seem like a lot of riders, but we have folks coming here from Michigan, from Manhattan, from San Diego. Both coasts competing. We got Canadians here. Good stuff. And one of our great riders here today who's been showing his form, the rider at the front, Ian Ulrich, the leader in the Omnium in that dark blue, gets the bell. He's trying to get back into the lead of this race as he hasn't won a sprint yet. He's got with him Billy Taylor. Taylor with 4 points right now. Ulrich sitting with 6. Rackness still has some fight in him here. He doesn't want to get off the pace of these two competitors. He knows that they're going to be sprinting against each other, and that's exactly what they do. Billy Taylor will find the 5. Ian Ulrich for 3. Rackness will get 2. And Hodgins, I believe, will get the 1, though down a lap. Unofficially, I have Ben Rackness as our continuing race leader at the moment. Though he's not in the front of the race, he's got 12. That's enough for the lead. The 2 off the front are now in a tie for second place. I have them at 9 points apiece. That's going to be Ian Ulrich and Billy Taylor with 9 apiece. Henry Kaiser sitting in fourth with 2. In fifth place is Brendan Hodgins, though down the lap he did pick up that point in the last sprint. Things developing well for these two. They're just going to continue to take the lion's share of the points as Ulrich and Taylor will make up a dynamic duo here for the next several laps and keep the action away from them. Not an easy way to race here, but maybe a little easier than having to sprint against a whole bunch of competitors. You can see Ulrich and Taylor doing work against each other here before the sprint. So they're keeping it competitive. They are not in the mood to sit around, as Ulrich knows that Taylor has found a way to challenge him at the line when it comes down to the sprint. Seeing 17 to go. So if you're new to watching points racing, the way this works is if you gain a lap on the field, you gain 20 points. In the case of this race, we're seeing riders going down the lap to the field. They lose 20 points. We're keeping track of that, don't you worry. Those points will matter in the end calculations. Right now, we're keeping our eyes mostly posted on these two at the front of the race. We've got a group of 4 with some riders on different laps. On the same lap as the leaders is bib 502 in that group. Bells ringing for our leaders, Taylor and Ulrich. Taylor, the rider in the bright blue kit. They're tied for second right now in the race standings with 9 points apiece. So they're going to try to settle that right now. We're going to see who comes out on top. Also getting the bell is Raknus, currently sitting in first place in the race with 12 points. If he gets more points, he's going to be able to hold on to a good finishing position here. And getting the bell as well, our chasing group here. And trying to get his first win in a sprint. It looks like Ulrich will find his first 5. Taylor will pick up 3 in that one. 14 points for Ulrich, and Taylor moves up to 12. Raknus should be able to roll in for 2 more, keeping him in a tie for the lead with Ulrich at this stage in the race. So 2 more for Raknus. The first rider across the line in this group will get a point. Kaiser's trying to find it, the rider at the front with the blue helmet. And it looks like it will be Henry picking up another point here, trying to hold on to that 4th place position. Our leader's just seeing 14 to go as they come across the line. Couple riders getting close here to being brought down the lap again as our 2 leaders have caught some more competitors. The next rider they're looking to catch would be Kaiser, the first one to set off that attack earlier in the race. Kaiser's actually seeing 14 to go. The leader's seeing 13. And here comes the catch. So Kaiser will go down 1 as Ulrich explodes, trying to leave Taylor in the dust. 12 laps remaining for Ulrich and those immediately behind him. 12 to go, team, 12 to go. Ulrich was waiting for this moment to go on a solo attack here, knowing that he's got the distance. Our Madison champion last year has a great set of endurance skills here that he can put on display, and Ulrich's found his time. So Ian's going to take a move here and just get out in front of the field, seeing 11 to go, and points on the board next time for Ulrich. Points next time around. Raknus getting the bell as well. Taylor getting the bell as well. Those are our first 3 across the line on this bell lap. Points next time. Points next time. Kaiser driving this group of 4. Moving up to 19 points will be Ulrich, and taking the lead for the first time in the race. Couple more sprints left for him. .508 picking up the 3 points there is Billy Taylor. Henry will find 2 in this sprint. And I believe Grant Gallagher, 505, should pick up the 1. So though it can be a little confusing for the position, until the field is back up to where the rider in orange is, he's not eligible for points. So the no man's land in the points race as we work on keeping track of where the laps are. Again, the field catching up to Raknus would change that situation, but as it stands, the first racer on the track is still Ian Ulrich, and he now has the lead of the race with 19 points. Sitting in second place is Billy Taylor. He's got 15. Raknus is still sitting in third place now as the points have changed up. 7 to go. 7 to go. Big move here from Billy Taylor. Star Trek making a move here. Big move here for Taylor, trying to take back the lead of the race with the bell ringing. He's got 15 points, trying to find 5 more. 2 sprints left to try to take it back from his competitor here, Ian Ulrich. These two have been just battling it out here today. Grueling effort from these two riders as they are both at the top of the Omnium. It's currently Taylor in second in that Omnium race, so he's really looking for some value in this points race tonight. And Billy Taylor trying to hold on here. He's got the speed in the running room. Looks like he'll find the 5. Ulrich will take the 3 on this lap. 3 points for Rackness. 2 points, excuse me. And 1 point for Kaiser. Our unofficial leader in the race with 22 points is Ian Ulrich. He got 3 more in the last sprint. Billy Taylor closing down in that lead. He now is only trailing by 2. He's got 20 points. That's right, do the math. If he wins the last sprint, he wins the race. If he doesn't, Ulrich will take it. So it really does come down to the final sprint for these two competitors, and they're already playing it like it's a match sprint. They know what's ahead of them in the overall standings here. Ben Rackness will find some more points in there and holds on to 3rd, as Henry Kaiser will still find himself in 4th. Group of 5 coming underneath the 2 leaders. Seeing 3 to go. Ulrich exploding over the right-hand side. Look at the speed from this young man. He's just saving it here for a big effort at the end of the race. He wants to guarantee the win, not give Taylor another opportunity. Ulrich just trying to close this thing out, put the nail in the coffin, end this thing in style, getting some love from the home crowd. Team Velosport coming up from San Diego and trying to end this thing well. When asked what his favorite other things to do was, he says, I like to ride bikes. That's a pretty simple answer, and we can see why. This dude's got to be training a lot to be riding like he is today, and we are very impressed with his riding all day long. Ian Ulrich, 1 to go. Closing out the race, 1 to go for Ian Ulrich. See why he is a national Madison champion. Showing that off tonight. 1 to go for the rest of our field here. 1 to go. 1 to go. And your winner for the points race and the Omnium today, Ian Ulrich, grabbing another victory tonight in a nice ride from him. And here comes our field. The sprint looking fast here as our Jerry Baker riders trying to make an attack on one another. It'll be Kaiser in the sprinter's lane and Rackness over the top. Rackness has enough speed to take this one. Our second place finisher and all that is going to be Billy Taylor for Star Trek, picking up the second place finish in this one and also second in the overall Omnium. Because the men just finished up, we will actually have the women heats go first, just not right away. Give us just a minute or two. I will call you when we're set. So women sprinters, we will call you first. Men need a little bit of rest time as we do have some double dippers in our fields tonight, so we'll make sure that they have an opportunity to get prepared for the upcoming event. Once again, our sprint heats, the women will start it off, then we'll call the men. We need just a moment of transition here before we call you. Thank you for your patience. Hope you're enjoying your time tonight. Again, thanks for joining us for this unique weekend of racing. Racing continues on into Saturday morning. We've got lots more to get through. This just session 2 in our weekend schedule. We'll be back tomorrow morning for some more fun here at the Velodrome with our juniors visiting from out of town. It's a good time for me to mention several of our great sponsors that we have here in 2019. We have amazing community partners, none the least, of course, those corporations, those companies, those locally owned companies especially that step up in big ways to support and sponsor what we do here at the track. We appreciate all of them. We are thanks to Vi 13 Custom Apparel, Kreitler Rollers, Build Performance Center, Noon Electrolyte Enhanced Drink Tabs, Locust Cider, Winville, Washington, Greg Cycles, Star Rentals, Ace Maple Leaf, the Better Builders team, Corpo Sano, and Pyatt Broadmark Capital, John Duggan, Bike Cycling Attorney. Our thanks to many of our sponsors this year for stepping up in huge ways, helping support our racing program Vision. Once again, here with their secret sale. If you haven't gone over to check out their tent, our 2019 Grand Prix sponsor and all-around great friends, Vision, is here with us today and tomorrow, giving some great deals on all carbon goodies. The coolest looking bottle cages you can find. Great aero bars, cool sets of cranks. You can find it all here today. Go check out their product. It is at a price you cannot beat, and you know you want their stuff because it's the best. So go check it out. Proceeds from tonight do go right back into benefiting our junior programs here in Marymoor. And we're good, set to go for this first heat of the finals. Come on down, the first heat in the finals. Looks like it'll be Raina Placer taking the outside position. Katie Gibson will slot inside. This their first heat in the best of 3 for the third place race here. The bronze medal on the line. This will be, again, the first ride in a best of 3 event to earn that third place finish in the sprint tournament today. Gibson, the rider, on the inside position. Placer to her right with the neon helmet. On deck is the gold silver, McKee and Hankins. They will be followed by our men heats, which will begin with Rackness and Ulrich. Don't forget the food truck here this evening is here to serve you, and make sure you've gotten your dinner taken care of. Just Unique Bikes is hanging out tonight with us, so get your dinner craving taken care of before you head out tonight. Get your to-go burger and fries. Jessica's Unique Bites here at the track. Best way to watch, of course, in person here. We've got the beverage garden, the food trucks, the great swag for sale, and of course the environment here. A beautiful evening in Marymoor Park. Out of turn 4 right now. The formation looking pretty similar as both riders taking their time through that first lap. It's Gibson trying to edge her way forward just a little bit, leaning out in front. Our rider in that neon helmet, Placer, coming up alongside her right side now. This will be the first meeting between these two in a head-to-head. Placer focused on her spot, looking for her opportunity, and she finds that opportunity, dives fast into the left lane. Off and away goes our Michigan sprinter. Gibson trying to find enough second kick here. Can she find it? Gibson looking like she can accelerate quite a bit through the turn. Placer trying to hold on. This might be very close. Here they come to the line on the inside. Can she hold on? Ho-ho! There we go. That's a sprint. Nicely done. Oh, I thought Gibson had the speed to come over the top. The sprinter's lane with that advantage to turn 4, able to hold on. It will be Placer taking the first ride. McKee and Hankins will come up to the rail now, or up to the line for their first ride of the heat. On deck will be Rackness and Ulrich. In the blue is McKenna McKee, drawing the inside position, and she will lead the lap at the moment. It's Kayla Hankins in the white on the outside position right now, and just a little bit behind her competitor. McKee moving up a little bit here. Again, the first time these two have ridden head-to-head. Our record setter in the white jersey going into the record books here at the track. So her trip has already been worth it. We'll see if she can put together some results here tonight, or if McKee might be able to surprise with this interesting matchup between these two. Nice acceleration here from McKee. She's not quite to full speed. We're looking for just a little bit more. She's still ramping it up through the back straight now. It looks like we're getting really into it. And a big stand up from Hankins, trying to find enough running room coming out of turn 4. She has the space. Can she do it in time? Hankins with a big turn of speed. And look at that. Rolls it in for the first ride. And good attempt there for McKee to hold off the charge. Hankins finds just enough speed through turn 4. Takes her by about a bike. Our first heat for the men coming down in this finals ride. On deck will be heat 2. So here comes our first heat here. It'll be Raknus and Ulrich taking on one another in their first matchup. On deck will be Davies taking on Jean-Luc in their first head-to-head matchup for the sprint tournament. Looking for that gold silver medal ride coming up here in just a moment. After the men's final ride one is finished, we will call up the women for their points race. Raknus will take the front position as Ulrich will slot behind. Raknus now with the neon-colored helmet. The white helmet for Ulrich behind him. This is their first matchup of a best of three. Once again, this would be for the third place race. Raknus controlling the front position, looking over the shoulder, anticipating Ulrich maybe wanting to go the long way around. Hasn't made a move yet. One to go. It's still Raknus sweeping left and right, trying to use some room here, make himself a little bit wider than he is. Ulrich will take the lane, and now Raknus has to go to top speed as quick as he can, as Ulrich's not going to wait. He knows he's got to move here, and Raknus will try to match as quick as he can. He's got some speed through turn three. Looks like he might get up to the rear wheel, turning it into a sprint here. Raknus trying to find a little more speed over the top. Ulrich is going to hold on, and he'll get it. The right move, but maybe too late. Ulrich will find it in the first matchup in that heat. We'll see them again later to decide if Ulrich will be able to find that bronze medal or if Raknus will force a third ride. Heat two, come on down. On deck is the women competitors for their points race. On deck are women competitors in the points race. On the inside, Content Galatello taking on Davies. In that outside position, you can see the two wearing fairly similar colors here. So from our vantage point, maybe looking for that gray helmet, the arrow helmet from Jean-Luc at the front wheel there. Our fastest time in the 200 meters earlier today was from Tyler Davies, the rider in second wheel. So he is the one who seated himself at the top of the competition, but these guys were all very close. All sub-12s and all within a couple hundredths, even tenths of a second for some of them, depending. So a close field overall. It will come down to timing and tactics here between the two of these riders. This is the first time they've met up this evening. It's Jean-Luc guarding the front position and being patient through turns 3 and 4. Davies, our Canadian competitor, coming down the coast, signed up for the sprints today, showing his strength in this event so far. Jean-Luc with an incredibly fast 200-meter as well, so should be well matched here. Davies will just take the long way around and will just take the jump. So that's a hard move, and he wants to take it. See if his competitor can respond. What a move out of turn 2, not expected. But he is up against a good sprinter here. Can they find it to the sprinter's line? It's going to be he already knows how it's going to end. Wow. Jean-Luc with a huge recovery and launches himself around the right side, coming through turns 3 and 4 with an impressive turn of speed. The riders will retire for the moment and come back for their second ride a little bit later in our program. Those two gentlemen putting in an 11.739 200-meter time, by the way, on that sprint. That's a quick one. All right. Women competitors, please, to the rail for the points race. Women competitors to the rail for the points race. This, their last race for the evening for this Omnium event that we've been running throughout the day. Off we go for a 5x5 points race. So we saw the men ride it earlier. 5, 3, 2, and 1 to the leaders on the lap. This one's a 25-lap event. Sprint every 5 laps, just like we saw before. There'll be 5 sprints in total. We'll try to keep you up to date with how things progress. As I see it, I'll call it. Stick around. We've still got some more fun stuff. You saw some really exciting close matchups in that sprint tournament. We'll see all of those riders one more time at least, maybe even a third time. And you also won't want to miss our award presentations where we get to celebrate these fantastic riders and thank them for making the journey out here. We're going to get some award ceremonies going for the Omnium from today as well as our sprint tournament. So we'll make sure to fit that all into our program tonight before we call it quits. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning. Still some more stuff ahead of us tonight, though, so stay tuned. Enjoy the racing. Beverage garden's still open, and the party's hanging out here tonight. Whistle's blown, and the racing is underway. Our group of 5 will hear a bell at 21 laps to go for their first sprint in the points race. Much like there was a sort of a clear, strong rider coming out of that Omnium earlier today for the men, Ian Ulrich doing a pretty good job sweeping the field and taking each race. That's been Kelly Darlene's story so far. So we've had some riders showing some consistency across the day in this Omnium event. They've gotten to know each other over the course of several races, lots of laps together. They know what to expect out of each other now. This is their longest race of the day. We'll see how this mixes things up with all these intermediate sprints. And the first move now, as Heidi Martin will send Jack Rue Racing right off the front and try to get something going on early. Don't wait for the first bell. Let's go now. The field responds pretty quickly. They don't want to let the race get away from them yet. It's too early for that to go on. And Heidi actually will read the room, says, you know what, maybe not today. Let's call that one off, and I'll cut my losses and fall back into the field, and we'll try again next time. 23 to go for the group as our 5 are back together again. On deck will be our second set of rides for our sprint tournament. They're coming up after this points race is concluded. We'll just keep it in the same order for the rest of our program. We'll have the women followed by the men for the final ride. Since we flipped that around in the first ride, let's keep it the same way. Again, we'll have the women and then the men for their second ride in the finals. So just to keep you posted on what we're expected to do after the points race. The riders rolling around here, taking their turns at the front, waiting for that first bell to signal it's time to pick up the points. Heidi tried that earlier attack. She's back with the group. And the bell will be ringing next time they cross the line. Eyes are wide open here. Everybody's looking around, trying to anticipate who's going to make the first move. Once again, this field kind of leaning towards leaving the sprinter's lane available and open for maneuvering. Zeinhardt at the front of the group, looking around, trying to see what is going to happen as the bell rings. Points next time. Zeinhardt now moves into the sprinter's lane and is at the front of this field. TCNF legal team leading the lap still. Our Portland competitor still there. It's Heidi trying to get right alongside of her, and Kelly Darlene also trying to move into position. And Heidi Martin coming out of the field a little bit here. Jack Rue, Kelly Darlene. Darlene will take it. I believe it's Heidi taking the 3 points. Close call between the 2 and the 1. I'll wait for the official confirmation there. Kelly Darlene will take the first 5 and leads the race. After that, it's Heidi Martin with 3, Lauren Zeinhardt with 2, and Maya Duncan with 1. So following our first sprint, the group staying pretty close in contact here. Looks like Paige looking for a little bit of some reaction here as she'll try to creep herself away from the group. Maybe go slightly unnoticed for a little bit and set herself up just ahead of this field. This seeing 18 to go. Bell rings in a couple more laps from here. Again, it's a good reminder for all of our local fans not to miss next week, our kickoff weekend for the regular season. An entire weekend of racing to celebrate the start of the season, where we're going to take out all the stops, bring out all the good formats, every kind of race you could imagine. Great deal of fun. Our annual tradition to start our season off right. The annual kickoff for the regular season next weekend, 24th and the 25th. $17 to go as Ziska is still at the front. Our cross-country and YouTube specialist leading the pack here for a couple more laps. The field's starting to feel like it's time to move things forward. Can they catch her before a bell's ringing? Our rider from Texas pulls up to the right and gives a little bit more room for the field to come up underneath her. As she's done her work for now, she'll try to slot back in with the rest of this crew. Calm before the storm with the bell ringing. It's 16 to go. Points next time for our women competitors. 5, 3, 2, and 1 next time. Ziska will slide herself back to the front. Pretty wide here at the front of the field now, as it looks like everybody's vying for some kind of position. Zeinhert will start to edge out in front. Darlene now coming well out of the field. Looking like she's got the turn of speed to take it here. Heidi Martin also finding another bit of speed coming through the turns 3 and 4. Coming out of the turn will be Darlene at the front. Martin accelerating. Darlene for 5. Martin 3. Looks like Zeinhart will find the 2. Maya Duncan, I think, will pick up the point there. The 1 point in the sprint. And we'll double up their points as they'll finish in the same order as the first sprint. So our points are as you might imagine, with them getting 2 in a row of the same placings. It's Kelly Darlene with 10. Heidi Martin in second with 6. Lauren Zeinhart in third with 4. And Maya Duncan with 2 is in fourth place. So adding up their previous efforts to what they had coming into the race, it's Kelly Darlene in the overall lead at 130, coming in with the Omnium points from the earlier races. Lauren Zeinhart overall sitting in second right now with 116 in the Omnium. It's in third place is Heidi Martin with 114. Looking at 12 to go, the next time around will be a bell. Ziska sneaking off the front as the bell's ringing. She'll take the opportunity to make an attack here herself. Seeing 11 to go. Our rider in the overall lead, sitting in third wheel in the sprinter's lane, and maybe not having the best lane or line right now to take to attack the front. She has to play a little patiently as riders come up over her right shoulder. And on the outside, we'll take the 5 on that one. It'll be Zeinhart for 5 more, Martin for 3, and Kelly for 2. And Darlene trying to make her move. Trying to repeat some of the earlier work she did today, waiting for those final laps and then going aggressive at the end of the race. Wait for folks to fight it out. And now she'll make her big move. I did not announce it earlier. It will be Maya Duncan picking up the 1 point on the end of that last sprint. She holds on to 4th place in this race and the overall Omnium at this rate. The front of the race coming through turn 4. Kelly Darlene, our overall Omnium leader right now, trying to finish this thing off. Take the Omnium today. Being chased by these two riders working cooperatively here. Heidi Martin in the yellow for Jack Rue. Working with that blue kit of Lauren Zeinhardt. The two of them now will be in that chase. They're on the same straight as the race leader. Still Darlene at the front. 7 to go. Bell next time. The chase is in about the same position, not gaining or losing much ground on our local rider from Bellevue, Washington. Maybe losing a little bit of distance after a lap. It looks like Kelly has gained just a little bit on the chase. So she's trying to secure these 5 points and doing so, trying to secure her finishing position here in the Omnium. Kelly Darlene, 1 to go for points here. Want to go for some more points? You got the bell ringing. 2 sprints left for that race leader. Can she get the next 5 also? Points next lap as Heidi Martin taking turns with Lauren Zeinhardt. They're working together. Maya Duncan and Paige Ziska working together here as the bell's ringing. 1 point between the two of them will be up for grabs. Getting the 5, Kelly Darlene. And sprinting here for the 3 and the 2. Martin will hold on for 3 there. Zeinhardt will find 2. And here's the move for 1 point as Ziska will try to find first point in the race with a nice move here on this lap. Darlene still in a position to win this race and the Omnium today, trying to roll forward with this one. Few laps remain. These two working as a team. They're really trying to get back up to Kelly. Time's ticking away. Martin, the winner in that last sprint, finding the 3 points, gives her enough to be in the lead of this race, but not yet in the overall Omnium as she trails by 3 behind Zeinhardt in the Omnium standings. Ziska finds herself in a lone chasing position. Maya Duncan also in the chase. 3 to go for the race leader, Darlene. Watching these two here as they've been kind of going back and forth, taking turns. Someone has to sprint at some point. They know the last lap's coming up. So they're getting ready in their minds, mentally prepared to challenge one another, as they are racing for 2nd place in the overall Omnium, so they're trying to make sure that they keep that competitive here. Two to go for the race leader, 2 to go. Riding a smooth tempo here, our race leader is. 2 to go for the chase of 2 riders. Our field trying to hold on to this one is Martin and Zeinhardt have been teamed up for several laps since essentially the 10 to go mark. Ziska getting some love from the home crowd here. Everybody putting on a good show for us today. Great riding from our young competitors all day. 1 to go, 1 to go. Bell's ringing as we're getting the chase here. 1 to go. The catch has happened. It's 1 to go for Duncan as well. Maya Duncan getting the 1 to go. 1 to go, 1 to go. And getting the bell, Ziska also hearing the 1 to go. And here comes our race leader and our winner of the Omnium overall standings. It's Kelly Darlene, Jerry Baker Jr. team. Sprint is coming in here for second place in this finish. Martin trying to come around the outside. Heidi Martin with a good turn of speed. Whoa, man. Jackaroo Racing putting up a good show here to finish the race. As Zeinhardt and Martin going head to head for several laps there together. Only one more point advantage given to Martin. I think it's going to come down to a 1 point difference between Martin and Zeinhardt when this thing is calculated. It's awfully close. Ziska will pick up another point as well in this one and a good finish as the race is concluded. Our women's sprinters should be heading over for their second ride. Nicely done from Maya Duncan. Northwest Cycling Club showing up here today and having some great rides all day long. The second ride for the sprinters is coming up. We're going to start with the women, so we'll have Heat 1 come on over for the sprinters. Heat 2 will be on deck. Feeling a little chilly? Maybe need to cuddle up with something a little warm you up? It might even have the Jerry Baker Velodrome logo on it. Head on over to the merchandise table now and grab your cozy and appropriately logoed item today. You can grab a shirt, a hoodie, a beanie. They're there ready to take your fantastic donation. All you have to do is pull out a credit card. We're actually ready to take that too. Go visit the table behind the grandstands and get your swag today. Show folks that you are proud to be a supporter of track racing here at Redmond, Washington. It'll be Raina Placer and Katie Gibson coming up for their second ride. Placer, the one taking that first matchup and drawing in the last matchup the outside, so she'll take the inside position on this one. Gibson will be closer to the rail. Riding nearly side by side. The rider in the neon helmet is the rider with advantage, having taken the first ride in the heat. Gibson looking for her first to force the third ride. This is for third and fourth place in the sprint tournament. Possibly our most patient first lap yet. The two riders taking their time through the first two turns, staying almost side by side through a good piece of it. In fact, this might be our first near track stand of the day as our riders coming almost to complete stop, forcing some position changes as neither rider committing to much yet. Don't forget, if you want to remember tonight and you had a moment captured by Dennis, to check out dbcphoto.com after racing is completed. Bells ringing and both riders getting well up to speed on the home straight as the two will come into turn one. Again, nearly side by side. Much like they started this race, they go into the second lap. Placer finding enough speed in the back straight to take the front position away. Now Gibson having to find some way to respond. Placer in the neon helmet looking over the shoulder, seeing what's going on behind her, and it looks like she'll take two in a row. It is unofficially will be Placer taking the third place in the women's sprint tournament. And that'll be the last matchup of that heat. Heat 2. We'll see McKee take on Hankins. It'll be McKee searching for her first here in this to try to force a third ride. That's the rider in blue setting up on the outside. In the inside position, Kayla Hankins trying to find a second in a row and end this thing for the gold medal. On deck, our men's sprinters are getting ready for their second ride. Our men's sprinters in the finals, second ride on deck. The rider with advantage, the one in white, and off the front is Hankins. McKee chasing down for her first victory to force that third ride, and she's leaving quite a bit of room here in the early part of the lap. Looking for some creativity here, I'm sure, as McKee is thinking, what's the formula here that I can apply that'll give me the best advantage? Hankins showing in the last matchup that they are well matched with each other at top speed. Timing and tactics, very key here for these two young riders. And the bell's ringing. McKee's feeling some pressure to move. Hankins maybe not totally ready for it. McKee with a good run up. Nice run at the rear wheel of Hankins. She's got 400 meters of pure sprinting power to deal with, though. Who's going to come out on top? Another bit of acceleration from Hankins. Coming into turn 3 and 4. It's Hankins getting really quick through there. Can she find enough speed to come over the top? It looks like she might find it. Wow. That speed out of the back straight. She already looked like she was going at top speed, and then she added another 5 miles an hour to it. Good matchup between these two ladies in very high speed event between those two. Incredible sprinting all day long from our junior riders. It'll be Hankins, unofficially our gold medalist for the women's field. Rackness and Ulrich coming up for their second ride. On deck, Contan Galatello and Davies. Depending on who wins these races, we may see or may not see a final ride 3. If we do not, we will move into the award ceremony shortly. For all of our racing today, we'll try to get all that captured in one quick little go. If we do have ride 3, there'll be that third ride to finish up first. We might be able to toss in, depending on our crew, we might be able to toss in the award ceremony for our Omnium as we give our gentlemen some rest time. On the inner part of the track, sweeping to his right now in the dark blue kit and the white helmet. Ian is looking for his first win here, trying to force the third ride, and it'll be Rackness with the neon helmet behind him, trying to clean this one up and end the series. They're looking for third place out of this ride. Again, Rackness finds it. That'll be it for this field. He'll take third. Ian trying to change things up in this ride and see if he can force the third. It would be our first ride, third ride today, as we haven't yet had one. Ulrich finding a little bit of space here all of a sudden as he accelerates on the back straight. Rackness leaving some room for him to move. Now I'm starting to match tempo as they come through turn 4. The bell's ringing. Ulrich will swing back out wide, prepare himself for the final 400 meters. A little bit of a false move there on the part of Ulrich. He will reset the race back to ground zero. Change up the position. Trying to dance around a little bit as Ben now having to be defensive. Ian moving cleverly around the track. He's got himself a little bit pinned against the rail now. Continuing to hold him up against the top of the track all the way through turn 3 and 4. The positioning by Ian masterfully done, moving around the track, trying to hold Rackness off of it, and it's enough to move to a ride 3. Ulrich. Did I miss that? This is why all my calls are unofficial, team.
Are you scared?
I will say, though, don't need an official to confirm that Ulrich takes that race. So well done. We'll get that sorted out in just a moment. Got it. Ulrich will take them back-to-back. My mistake. And will clean the series and take the bronze in the men's sprint tournament. Right on the outside with advantage in this matchup right now, as it'll be Tyler Davies on the inside for Elite Racing, trying to find his first. Some great top speed demonstrated from these two the last time they matched up. A sub 12-second 200-meter time as they were in the match sprint. So top speeds of these two riders already shown off in the flying 200 meters. Also coming to play here tonight in their matchup in this final sprint for the gold and silver. This now ride 2. The rider off the front is looking for his first. I promise I'm not making the mistake twice in a row. Jean-Luc leaving quite a bit of room here. If he can make the right move happen and close in on this, he'll walk away today with a gold medal and a victory in this sprint tournament. Our Canadian off the front, trying to prevent that. He's using the middle of the track right now, knows that they're up to a pretty quick clip, trying to keep watch on where his competitor's going, but not committing to any part of the track just yet. Still waiting, coming into the back straight, still waiting. And now a big acceleration. He's going to try to cut him off again, getting in that sprinter's lane. Similar tactic. Does Davies have enough speed? Look at this. Trying to slingshot off his rear wheel. And Jean-Luc with a big attack here. Can Davies hold on? Jean-Luc making the move. It will be. Jean-Luc on the outside. Taking 2 in a row. And will be picking up a gold medal today in this sprint tournament. All right. We're just about ready to start with some presentations for our Omnium competitors. We're going to take our camera down to the sideline here at the podium and do some presentations for our Omnium winners. And
just waiting on a few results to be delivered, and then we can get started. All right, so we'll begin with Omnium presentations for the Omnium, starting with the men.
And this presentation, of course, our top three finishers in the Omnium. Today, start with the men, and then we'll do the women. All right, looks like we're all set to go. Camera's getting out. The Kodak moment. Forthcoming. Make sure everybody's nearby before we get started. All right, thumbs up. Fantastic in our track development race series here in the Junior National Track Cup number 3. Here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome, we are proud to call up our top 3 in the men's Omnium overall standings. In third place with 133 points, riding for Jerry Baker Jr.'s Ben Rackness. In second place, bringing in a total of 155 points, racing for Star Track Team, it is Billy Taylor. In our champion for the day, bringing in a total of 172 points, riding for Team Velosport, Ian Ulrich. Your Omnium champions for our junior men's field, the Junior National Track Cup. Next up, we'll do our women competition for the Omnium, the women Omnium standings. Our top 3 for the Junior National Track Cup 2019 in third place with a total of 126 points, Heidi Martin. And in second place, riding for Team CNF Legal, a total of 127 points, only 1 point separating Lauren Seinar. And your champion with a total of 147 points, riding for the Jerry Baker Junior's team, Kelly Dolly. Congratulations to our Omnium champions in our women's field. Up next in our order is going to be our finish for the women's sprint. The women's sprint. Those next wrap up all those ladies over our top 3 for the sprint. Followed by the men. We'll do the women's sprint and then the men's sprint award ceremony. All right. Our sprint tournament today.
Weird.
Our top three in the women's field is what we'll start with, followed by our men top three. First up, our third place finisher today in the sprint tournament, riding for American Cycling League out of Detroit, Morena Placer. In second place, all the way from Vancouver, Washington, for TCNF Legal Racing Team, McKenna McKee. And our champion today, traveling here from Phoenix, Arizona, riding for Team Lux, Kayla Hankins.
Hands up, girls. Get up there, McKenna. Squeeze.
And now for the award ceremony for our men's tournament here. Congratulations to our winner for a fantastic sprint tournament.
The sprinters are bigger than it.
And in our men's sprint tournament, our top three finishers. In third place, traveling from San Diego, riding for Team Velosport, Ian Ulrich. And in second place, meeting for the elite race team out of Vancouver, BC, Tyler Davies. And our winner today, sitting on top of this exciting sprint tournament, in first place, Jean-Luc Gallatello. And congratulations to our men's champions in the sprint tournament. And congratulations to all for putting some great racing today. We got more coming up. We're going to be wrapping here tonight for the next few minutes in the closing shop here. Invite you to join us again for session 3 of the overall program starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. start time listed. We've got some team omniums to get through. The Madisons have been canceled, so we're going to be moving into some other events. Team Sprint will be going on tomorrow. The scratch race finals for the women and men omniums. So we got lots of racing to still do tomorrow on Saturday morning. We look forward to having you back. Big thanks to all of our volunteers tonight for made racing possible. Thanks to our fans for showing up to support the racers as well as tuning in online. We thank you all for supporting this great event here today. Thank you as excitement for their partnership. Marymoor Park for being our host here tonight. And once again, all of our competitors make sure that you're here to make things possible. Have more fun tomorrow. Look forward to having you back again at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome.